Hey man, how's your movie going?
No warning, just went live. Well, very little warning. So for those of you that haven't seen the show before, it's called Hey Man, How's Your Movie Going? And if the title doesn't explain what it's about, then I can't help you. But welcome. My name is Jim Lujan, and I'm an animator and a cartoonist and a professional rodeo clown. And we're here to talk about the progress I've made on my movie in the last 2 weeks since I've talked to you last. And today we're going to have a very special guest named Gary Hodges. We like to call him House Rules Hodges around here because he sticks to the house rules, especially when playing Monopoly. Do not stray from the house rules. That's what I've been told. But anyways, I guess I wonder if I should just bring Gary on right now as we speak. And Gary, if you're nude, please make sure that you remain nude. Gary Hodges, are you there?
I am here.
Oh, wow. Okay. So this is great.
It's very exciting.
Welcome to Hey Man, how's your movie going?
My movie has barely gotten off the ground at all in any way.
Oh, well.
Your progress is going to have to make up for the both of us.
I'll do my best. This show could also be called Hats.
It could. It could.
We're both wearing hats today.
Mhm.
The reason why I'm bringing Gary on, besides for moral support, is only because of moral support. Because I use Gary a lot of times as a sounding board for the decisions I've made with this film. Although, Gary, you'll admit it's not so much as like, hey, Gary, what do you think I should do? But like, hey, Gary, I've done this. What do you think of this? And then it's usually I come back and go, okay, Gary, I've undone that.
That does happen. That sometimes does happen where you'll explain something to me and then the next time we check them, it's like, it's all different. Everything I said last time, forget it. It's out.
I'm going to try to come up with an elephant pitch.
Okay.
An elephant pitch.
I mean, that'd be different. I'd be curious.
An elevator pitch. So it's a giant elevator pitch. So, but I'm going to try and come up with an elevator pitch for the Full Fungus. So my film is called The Full Fungus. It's an animated film I'm working on. Probably will be done at the end of this year or the beginning of 2024 sometime. Much like Gary, I'm not putting myself in a tight due date. There's no reason to. I'm having a lot of fun with it. There's a lot of elements to this. And Dee says hello. Hello. Thank you, Dee. But right now, here's my elevator pitch. So The Full Fungus is a story of a fabled legend piece of music called The Full Fungus, created by jazz great Mink Fungus. When Mink passed away, so did the legend of The Full Fungus. It never saw the light of day. Now, there's a mobster named Koviak who nowadays is about 102, and he wants this music. And through a series of events, he realizes that Mink's son, only surviving child, son, might know where this music is now because he's been given that out. So he's tracking down this guy to shake him down for this music, and some colorful characters try to intervene. And hijinks ensues. Every film.
Hijinks ensue. You always have to do that. You know?
Yeah. So
I won't watch a movie unless there's at least one hijink.
Well, sometimes there's hijinks and then it doesn't ensue. So
true.
That's always, Trash Ghost. I like that name. He Trash Ghost asks, inspired by Charles Mingus. You know what's funny? I would say the name. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I said I played DD again. When I came up with the title, The Full Fungus, immediately I knew there had to be a jazz character named Mink Fungus, but I didn't think of who was inspiring that. So I think it's kind of a combination of Charles Mingus and Monk. I mean, and yeah, and what's his name? Monk. Monk McPherson. No, I don't know. I'll think of it right now. There's another jazz great. Hey, there's Paul. Hello, Paul. But yeah, I think so. Subconsciously, Charles Mingus, and what the heck's the guy's name? Piano player. I can't believe I went blank. Somebody tell me his name. Monk.
Or Thelonious Monk.
Thelonious Monk. That's why.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Mingus.
Or Thelonious. I'm sorry. Thelonious Monk is probably a rapper. Thelonious.
There is. I think. Well, it's the Thelonious, right? Monk.
Paul Pate is correcting Thelonious, and he is correct. I think I said Thelonious.
Yeah. Okay. So there's a rapper, and he's missing, and I think I'm not kidding. And I think his name is Thelonious Monk because I used to have some of his music. It's really good. And he's from England, and I think he went missing. Google that. You'll see. Anyways, while you guys are Googling missing English rappers, I'll tell you a little bit about the story so far, where I'm at. So when we last left off, I was on scene 3, which I still am on scene 3, but I'm done with scenes 1, fully done with scene 2 now. I was not done last time. So there's a whole MMA type fighting scene and some stuff that happens in the ring and blah, 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 in the crowd and all this stuff. And and I'm done with that. Like I finished it. So that's good. I'm also adding scenes to the first basketball scene, so which comes to mind. I had one Mr. Gerald Reuben Hodges, which is his real name.
Wow.
Gary Hodges submitted a voice for me, a couple of voice ideas, right?
Yeah, I threw you a pile just so you had options.
So I wanted to show you what your character is probably going to look like.
Oh,
it's just
cool.
a quick shot,
okay.
Because I noticed with the basketball scene, I have enough footage where I can kind of get a feel for it, where it's going back and forth. And I was, another thing I want to talk about tonight, I was working on an animatic, and I want to talk about that too. But I got a feel for this basketball scene, and I needed some cutaways. So I created just a few cutaways to just get the pacing a little bit. And one of the cutaways is the one I'm going to show you. So let's see here. Share window. Right here. Here's what I want to show you. So this is a cutaway of some of the players complaining about another player because he's calling foul for everything. And
right.
Your guy, I'm thinking, is the guy in the middle in the blue.
I figured. I think my voice works for the guy in the middle. Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, he's kind of going like, "Come on, really?" That type of And then the guy to the left, I think Deacon's doing his voice.
Cool.
But it's just a really quick shot. It's a really quick shot, but I think we could linger and enjoy this shot now. If you notice, there's a couple of details I put in here. One of them being that he's your character who doesn't have a name yet, but now's your opportunity. If you'd like to name him, we can name him. What's your middle name, Gary?
He looks like a...
Should we have a contest? Should we have who comes up with the best first name for this character?
Yeah, I'm trying to get in tune with the muses. I'm trying to what is this guy's name? To me, he's kind of like a tie. I think that looks like a tie to me. Yeah, or maybe a Rex. I don't know. There's it's a weird little short name. I think that's.
So I tell you what, I thought Dee Dee was suggesting Frank as a name,
but she's just greeting.
Because Frank popped in and said hello.
Yes.
Okay. If anybody, what is this name here? Slade. That's a good one.
Yeah, you know, I think that also it's kind of it's a weird little.
What if we called? Oh, I kind of like this one too. Whoops, not this. This one. Wedo.
You know, Tanner sort of works too.
Oh, this is good.
Tanner's not bad.
That's a good one too. I second Frank as a name. This is fun. We're building a movie as we go. So, Dee Dee says he should be named he, which I believe might be Belgian, perhaps. I don't know.
Yeah, perhaps. Yeah, I feel like it's a weird. Like now, I'm thinking like Tanner Pink. I think that's his name, Mr. Tanner Pink. I think something like that. Something weird like that. Yeah.
We'll see. I like so far Tanner. Tanner's a really good one.
Tanner's not bad.
I'm feeling Tanner. So, who said Tanner, by the way? Was it Paul? Yeah,
that was Paul.
Paul said Tanner. His name, Tanner. Kind of feeling that. Okay.
Yeah.
So, by the way, Paul is another person I've leaned to with story ideas. The difference is, though, I think with Gary, I go to and say, "Hey, here's what I'm thinking of doing," and with Paul, it's usually like, "Here's what I did." You know, what do you think? But I'm and Paul says, yeah, if I name him Tanner, he quits the movie. Well, we don't want that to happen, Paul.
Yeah.
Gary, what's your middle name? Is it
William? Or Rules, depending on this right here. But no, it's William.
So maybe his name's Tanner Williams.
Tanner Williams. There you go.
We'll see. Okay.
Tanner Williams isn't bad. That works. That
Yeah.
sounds like a name. That sounds like that could be a person.
Well, I'm gonna have to. Somebody, please write this down. So, okay, Tanner Williams. I like that.
Tanner Williams. I'm gonna write it down.
Okay. And here's a little bit about Tanner Williams. If you notice, he's wearing his insignia. I wish I could zoom on this. I don't think I can zoom in on this screen. No, but he's wearing. Wait, maybe if I zoom in on the picture itself. Hang tight, little buddies. And okay, tell me if this works. Is that working? Yeah, it is working. Okay. If you'll notice, $10,000. Gary will give you $10,000 cash for the first person that names what this is from. This logo.
Well,
$10,000 cash. Okay.
We never talked about that.
The prize is going up. What? It's going higher? It's going higher.
I think I know what it is, but
Gary, you guess it so that you don't have to pay anybody.
Well, is that the from Sugar Machine?
That's right, Gary. Gary Hodges.
There we go.
For the win. Woo.
That's a relief because I can tell you right now, I do not have $10,000.
Okay.
That would not have worked.
All right. So yeah, he's wearing Sugar Machines. And if you haven't seen my film Sugar Machine, look at Frank. Frank almost got that $10,000. Well,
late,
playing Frank.
Late. We're gonna nickname Frank Almost.
Frank Almost. Edward James Almost. Yeah, he's wearing that, and then our buddy over here to the left, who I've been just calling Magic because he's wearing Magic Johnson's jersey.
Clearly a super fan. Yeah.
Yes, and also, you'll never see this in the movie, by the way. I mean, it'll go by so fast because it's just it's just a super quick scene. But if you notice his tattoo,
yeah,
not that there's a dragon one over here, but there's also another one that says "Ball for Life."
he takes his ball seriously.
Yeah. So, these are dumb characters, I understand, but I put some thought into them. And the other guy in the background's he doesn't associate with the other guys. He just comes there to play basketball, and he's just
okay
already.
They're not pals, but they do play together.
He's probably from France. So
I like that Tanner, based on assuming you use any of the voice samples I give you, is a little unhappy.
Here's a few facts about Tanner Williams, and then we'll get into some of the story stuff that you and I were talking about, and the also write this down. We'll get into the animatic. I want to mention that.
I'm writing. Yes, I know you had mentioned wanting to talk about animatic.
Wow. So, so Tanner Williams has worked at Citibank for 14 years.
What?
Yeah, Citibank.
That is an unexpected twist with Tanner Williams.
Yeah.
I thought to me he had video store written all over him.
No. He worked at well, he's not that high up at Citibank.
Okay.
But
Okay.
He works on mortgages. He made a lot of money in the 90s and then got when he was a youngster, like he was probably in his early 20s, made a lot of money and then made some really bad investments, went on a drug deal with his brother. You know, his brother's name was Cleat, like the shoe. So Cleat Williams and Tanner Williams. By the way, their father was a serviceman. He served in the Korean War. He's very old. His father, when they were born, his father is probably in his late 50s.
Okay.
And, but his father is a Caucasian, and his mother is actually Thai. Speaking of Thai, that's funny that you said that.
Oh, look at that.
He's half and half. And
see, the energies were telling me something. You see,
yeah. So
magic is real. Magic is real, buddy.
So he went on a drug deal years ago with his brother, and it went really bad. And his brother went to jail for 2 years, and then his brother's out now. Cleat, I don't know what Cleat's doing lately. I think Cleat was talking about opening a food truck, but I don't know if that ever happened.
Yeah.
But Tanner is now he's went straight. He's working with Citibank. He has a kid. He has a kid, a little boy named Justice. And everything's cool. It's all cool. Tanner's getting his life back together, but he's trying to play basketball. And this other character that you don't see here is causing him frustration, which makes Tanner say something like, "Come on!"
And variations of "come on."
He probably says "come on" like 15 times.
Yeah.
So, and Frank says his father is Henry. How did you know, Frank? Henry Williams. But on the battlefield, they called him Nade. That's short for grenade. So Nade Williams. If somebody wants to do a story about Nade Williams, go for it. But he's not a very nice guy. He was kind of abusive, but we won't go into that. So, and then here, Chester Pembleton Jr. I just wanted to put that name up on the screen because
that's a big name. That is a name to live up to. Did
you know that there's currently 57 players on an NFL rosters with the last name Williams?
Yeah,
and I know they all play on the same team.
That's what's weird about it.
That's what's crazy.
That's what's really strange.
You know,
and it's total coincidence.
Hank Williams is one of them.
Yes,
yeah,
there we go. So, Serena Williams, Robin Williams.
Is Cleat's full name Cletus? Yes, Paul, it is Cletus Williams. Cletus Davonair Williams is his full name.
Davonair?
Davonair is his middle name. I don't know where they got that from, but
that's odd.
Yeah, but now Tanner's real name is Tanner, but his middle name is Bronson. And guess who he's named after? Not Bronson Pinchot. Charles Bronson. Yeah, his father was a big Charles Bronson fan.
Well, he's got the mustache.
You know, the guys in his unit, they all knew that Nade was a big Bronson fan.
Wow.
You know, they used to call him as a joke. They used to call him Chuck sometimes too, like for Charles Bronson. So it's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah.
But all in all, you're only going to see this guy for 0.4 seconds in the film.
Right. Yeah.
So we've done a lot of working this out.
But we've got him really dialed in.
Yeah. So anyway, so let's and
his name will probably never be spoken, correct?
His name will never be spoken.
Yeah.
And maybe I'll just cut him out of the
he may not even make the final cut.
He may not even make the final cut. So somebody wrote, oh, TB Williams. Yeah. Tanner Bronson Williams, TB Williams, which is funny because I've only drawn Tanner twice. And he was in the background of, if you go back and watch like last week's show, he's just tiny in the background guy playing basketball. And then I drew this close-up picture because now he has a line. So now he'll probably get a SAG card. So,
and want some kind of back end, probably.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna show another sneak preview, exclusive piece of art. This is nice because it's nice because I can choose what to show, what not to show.
By the way, Happy Easter, everybody.
Oh yeah, happy Easter. Happy Easter, Tanner. Hope your family's doing well.
Mm-hmm.
The second scene in the film, oh, I'll say it's the second scene. It's the second scene I'm drawing. Who knows? Things can shuffle around, but one of the early scenes in the film, we end up at this location here. And it's a warehouse. It's the Wankford shipping, warehouse. And in this warehouse, we get to meet a couple of characters, which I'm going to show you right
What's
now.
going on with this suspicious character at the minivan?
That is. I'm glad you asked. That's Chino Diamond.
Okay.
Again, he's our one of our protagonists. He's a private detective, and he's examining a bullet hole on the side of his car.
Okay.
Which plays into part of this little this thing I like to call plot, but so I guess you have to stop sharing before you can share the next thing. So but inside this office, you get to meet these wonderful people right here. You get to meet not Tanner. So the guy on the left,
Mm-hmm.
and I believe his name's Mitch.
Mm-hmm.
I believe his name is Mitch. And if I got that wrong, I have nobody to blame but Mitch or Tanner.
Mm-hmm.
But the guy on the left is the director of the center of the warehouse, and the guy on the right is that's Lou. I do know his name is Lou. Deacon Burns plays Lou. And let's see here. Chino goes there to turn in some video that they hired him to monitor this at the basketball scene, and there's some hijinks. There's where the hijinks comes in. Okay. And Lou wants to murder the guy that they're surveying, and Mitch has to tell him, calm down. I believe
like literally murder him. He wants to murder him.
He wants to murder. No, he doesn't literally. Well, he probably literally would if he could, but
okay.
You know. So anyways, and let me see if I have any other things I want to share with you. I do have one more thing, and then we'll do some talking.
Okay.
All right. So Chino Diamond is played by Charlie Rossman, and it is actually this guy right here. So this is Chino Diamond backstage after this like MMA fight at a Indian casino that he went to go see. And he's going backstage to talk to Brandy Fungus, the fighter. And everyone's favorite jersey makes an appearance in this film here. And I should start selling these jerseys. But yeah.
Look at that. Look at that
in its glory.
Look at that little Easter egg.
That's right. So and Paul asks, can I write a novel about Cletus? Yeah, Paul, you sure can. Or why doesn't somebody just go to ChatGPT and put everything I just said in and make a story? Because you'd save yourself some trouble. Frank says, do you need a rugged voice? I'll see if Phil is available. Don't make Phil angry. You wouldn't like Phil when he's angry.
Yeah.
Okay. Or maybe you just like him because he's so likable. You'd still like him, but you'd be like, why did I make him angry? And then you wouldn't
if anyone is sort of has a kind of a likable anger that I could picture, it'd probably be Phil. Yeah.
Paul was thinking about it, and he said, debonair, it sounds made up.
Yeah.
How dare you?
Yeah.
How dare you, Mr. Pate?
It's outrageous.
It sounds made up.
That's outrageous.
Okay. I don't think that's real. Like
Hot calling kettle black.
I like Christopher's new show, Christopher Talkin'. Oh my God, that has to happen. So if you don't know, Christopher Runciman, who's on here, follow him, by the way.
Yes.
See what he's up to. I mean, literally follow him home. He has a great art cast that he does every day at, I don't know what time it's on everywhere else, but here it's 11 a.m. Pacific. Do the math. And he draws and he talks, and sometimes I hassle him and I say, well, what would Christopher Walken say about that? And he's legally obligated to do a Christopher Walken imitation.
Yeah.
You know? So, I mean, he could be telling the most heartbreaking story and just pouring his soul out, something in his life with tears in his eyes and everything. And then And then I said, well, what would Christopher Walken say about that? And he has to do it in tears. He'll be like,
He has to do it. So
Daddy,
give me a
Daddy,
second.
I can't do Christopher Walken. Daddy,
Right.
don't go out the door. Daddy, I don't know. I can't do Walken. That's not me. Anyways,
No.
thank you. Okay, so let's stop this screen share and let's get down to the brass enchilada. So a couple weeks ago, I was very excited because I started to do an animatic for the Full Fungus.
Yes.
And
there's actually big news in the Artcasters chat.
Yeah, because what I was
doing animatics.
I know. Corey Kerr sent me a bouquet of flowers and a note that said, "I'm proud of you, my boy."
Now,
finally,
okay, so
I have some semblance of respect for you because of this animatic. Good thing you're doing an animatic, Jim. Dan.
Now, for historical perspective,
yeah,
have you ever done animatics in projects like the one-man show projects, not collaborations with other people, but like, okay.
No.
But Corey Kerr is a big fan of the animatic.
He loves it. Well,
yes.
Here's and I do these right here. These are I call them storyboards, I guess.
Storyboard, yeah, right.
And for example, do I have one here? I can show you. Let's see here. Does this
perhaps you should define animatic for the audience at home?
Good point. An animatic is a version of it's like a storyboard version of an animated film with just to use it as a guide to animate over that. So
the most rudimentary animation,
which is basically my animation. So I don't even know what. But let's see here. Do I have one that I could show you with pride? I don't know if I do. Well, no, because I get rid of all of my. Well, anyways, what I do is I take these storyboards, these thumbnails, and then I just draw. I draw over them. I do my final on top of that, and I usually get rid of it. But what I did is I imported all those storyboards into iMovie, and I made an animatic. I laid them all out and kind of timed it. Here's the thing, though. I found after doing that for about a week and a half, almost 2 weeks, I found that it was really needlessly slowing down my flow and my production, because the way that I work is I don't assemble everything and then start, do the next step, I don't assemble all the voices, all of the art, and then and then build a version of it, and then go back and build a more solid version of it, and then go back and build. Now, when we did Revengeance with Bill Plimpton, that's how we did it, because we had another group of people working with us. When we did an Unchained Aggression with Corey, we did an animatic because we had he was working on it, and it was a great communication tool. But when it's me, I found, like, why am I doing an animatic? It's like I could go from thumbnail to finished version, and there's nothing in between. And then I just lay that finished version out, and the way I've always done films, and it works. It works really well. So after a couple weeks of doing an animatic, I just was like, this is needless. I don't need to plan.
Yeah, I can imagine when we talked about it, I pointed out that it might make sense if it was a complicated scene that you wanted to sort of mock up a little bit before you got deep into drawing, because so you didn't end up doing drawing unnecessarily or having to redo or change something when you'd spent a lot of time drawing it. But thinking about it since, I think also because your animation style isn't super
good,
involved and time consuming to make work, like, is there really a value in animatics? Like, you're never going to lose so much time, by realizing, like, I have a different idea for this scene. It's not like you sat and, we're doing 24 frames a second, hand drawn, like this crazy elaborate thing. Like, you can manage, you'll be fine.
One of the things in the way my work method is, I have a lot of freedom to add and subtract things. So just like this basketball scene that I'm working on, I did all the action scenes, and I had some of the reaction scenes and shots of the ball bricking off of the rim and things like that. and I didn't lay it out. I didn't do an animatic. So I laid out every shot that was finished and actually animated and rendered. I laid those out and I would tighten those and cut those. And when I watched it, I was like, you know what this could use? It could use for pacing. It could use a reaction shot. And I would just draw a reaction shot or whatever, or like what I'm doing with your character, Tanner. And this needs Tanner. So, but I've always worked like that. And I move, and sometimes I get rid of stuff too. Like I'll have a whole segment and be like, this doesn't work, and get rid of it. But I don't know. I think with me, we all have a limited amount of energy that we can put into our projects, no matter, even if this is what you do for a living, it's the same.
Yeah.
And it's about distributing that energy. Do you want to distribute? I think you distribute a lot of the energy at the front end and at the creation, that part. You take your time with that.
Yeah.
And then you collapse, and that's why you don't market anything. I'm the same way.
Kind of. Yeah.
So
Like by the time, I'm very, very close to done with this latest book. And by the time I finish a book, like I feel like I need to hibernate. Like I'm completely spent just from all but I like you, I find the ways, like what steps of this process can I either shortcut or eliminate? And so like in my case, a shortcut example would be, I'm perfectly content using a font for the dialogue in D versus M. I don't feel like I need to hand letter. That's like and that's just like, this is a way to really save a bunch of time, that I'm not hand lettering all the dialogue. When it comes to things that I skip, something I've talked about in past videos, I don't really have a pencil stage per se. Partly because working digitally, to me, it doesn't make any sense. Like I can go straight from thumbnail to inks. But also, and this makes me think of your animatics, because I don't need to communicate anything to an inker, like there's no reason to be penciling, I'm the inker. I know what I'm trying to do. So penciling to me makes sense if you're taking thumbnails and you need to kind of give the inker some other guy some direction. Like, this is how I would like it inked, and you do some really nice tight pencils and you send it off. That's not the case for me, like this one-stop shop. Like I know where I'm going, might as well skip pencils.
Yeah, I learned that not only making Revengeance was like a studio system, because they had colorists, they had inkers, they had a guy doing our sound, they had a separate person doing editing, and I got to have a piece of a lot of that, or input in a lot of that, and some of it I didn't. Some of it I had no input. Like, for example, the colors and coloring of it and the style, the way it looked, that was all Bill Plimpton. But I did have a say in some of the editing. I sat with the editor and we edited, and then we sent, what we did is we sent a rough I think it might have been iMovie, a rough version of it to the editor and said, here's the timing. And then he did his version over ours and improved some things. And then, hey, Hattie, what do you think about this? If we cut to this or did this instead, or, we're like, yeah, you're the pro. But with me, when I'm creating, I spend, I talked about where you spend the energy. The beginning, I'm really excited about the story and the project, and I design all these things, and I don't spend a lot of time. And it sounds funny with the whole Tanner thing that we did, but I don't spend that much time developing the character at the very beginning. So, like, for example, I had this game. There's a game show host in this, or even a better example here, because I think I have one more thing to show. I forgot. This shot, the office shot. All right, so in this scene, this is Chino Diamond, and he's in the office talking to Mitch, and boy, I don't even know if that's his name. I have his name written down somewhere. It's something
Look
like
at that little K cup. Is that a little K cup thing, or what am I looking at there? Or is that just a coffee maker and cups?
It's a little
off to the right.
Yeah, it's like a little coffee holder or something like that.
Yeah.
And a bunch of cups. Yeah. And but when I designed this character, I knew it was going to be an older white guy, and he's going to have kind of a gravelly voice, and he's just like at the end of his rope, like, you know, like, don't bother me, like, you know, God damn it, like that type of a like, just,
Right.
you know, he's just about to burst, but he doesn't snap all the time. And and I didn't spend hours and hours of going like, well, which actors, his face should look like which actor, but I had an idea. So
Yes.
when it came time to designing him, I mean, let me go back here. When it came time to designing him, this was really, and this is true with a lot of my characters. This was the first version I drew of him, and the only version I drew of him, and it became the model sheet.
Yeah.
So I didn't design, you know, 15 versions of them, and you know, because I mean, I did this. I'm like, yeah, that's him. That's who I pictured, you know. And you could tell he's a smoker, and you could tell he's probably really fit at one point. And you know, there's a whole there's a whole backstory already.
He looks like he has a story, right?
Yeah. So I don't spend weeks and weeks and weeks developing characters. But what I do is, and I've always kind of had a talent for this. I think when I look at a character, I'm able to like channel their backstory, you know. So I mean, sometimes I go in, like in going into this, I knew that the MMA fighter is going to be his niece,
Right.
and I know that he's maybe not blood related to her. It's his wife's sister is the mother of that MMA fighter. And I also know that he like has to go to a concert that his wife bought tickets for. That's why he can't go to the MMA show. And it's going to be I don't know. I have yet to pick the artist, like a Celine Dion, you know. And he's just like, oh, like Jesus Christ.
Something he's not going to be into.
Right. So I knew all of that. Like when designing this character, I just knew that. And then, you know, so, but but that's like, I mean, that takes 5 minutes for me a lot of times when I'm writing a story, and then you develop stuff afterwards, kind of. But so so that I'm there. I got the character. I didn't like, hey Jim, have you designed the new character? Oh, I'm working on it for another 2 weeks. You know, that doesn't happen. But where I do spend the energy on is the story and where things are going to be placed, and pacing is huge for me because my animation's so limited. Pacing is huge for me. Like I want the story to be like somebody watching it going, man, this animation is kind of crappy. Oh, but let's just see what happens next. Oh, that was pretty good. But I'll watch the next scene. Okay. And then by the time
you're always giving them a reason to like stay.
They watch the whole thing. And they're like, well, I'm already invested. I might as well watch this.
Right.
And that's the story of my creative life. It's
right.
I've always said this too, Gary, you know this. I do these. They are what they are. They are my versions of comic books. And if Marvel wants to come and remake my Avengers, you know, they can. If Hollywood comes knocking and they want to make something out of them, they can have it. Yeah, I mean, not have it, but you know.
Right. They can buy
do whatever they want. Like I won't be precious with it. Like you have to do it this way. These are their own thing. You know, these are my pulp novels. All of my stories are my pulp novels, and that's why the artwork works with them, because they are that style, you know. But and then Frank wants to know when we can expect the Luhan version of Captain Goggles.
I would like to see some Luhan fan art of
Captain Goggles does have an ankle bracelet. I just wanted it's issued to him by the Maricopa County public.
Your Captain Goggles has made some bad choices.
You don't want me doing Captain Goggles, Frank.
Bad choices.
You're going to get people with torches outside your house if I do Captain Goggles. My Captain Goggles, they're X-ray goggles. If, you know, so, or yours might be, Frank. I don't know, but
yeah, actually, we never really asked them. So
I'll have to draw Captain Goggles for you, though, Frank. Do it. Do it.
So I know I've asked you this before.
Yeah.
But I feel like I want to revisit it based on what you've been talking about. When it comes for this example, for Full Fungus, what was the first thing that came to you? The plot or some of the characters?
The name.
The name.
The name. A lot of times, Pleasure Beast The name
Yes.
was first.
That was the first thing to come out of the
Sugar
ether.
Machine. The Sugar Machine. The name was
all right. So then, what's the next thing?
The very next thing was mink fungus and the music that's missing. That was the very next thing.
So it's basically plot. Like mink
Yeah,
fungus,
yeah,
of course,
yeah,
is a character, but it's the concept.
Yeah,
that
it's
there's
about
this missing
that.
piece of music. Yeah.
Like at one point, okay, that's immediately. That was the very first thing. The second thing I thought was, oh, what if I made a movie? What if it's about a fungus? I entertained that for a little bit, but then I was like, I like this other story though so much, and I don't know where it goes. That's another thing too. My stories always end up surprising me. They kind of like where did I hear this? I heard somebody today say, oh, it was my good friend Dave Gahan from Depeche Mode. We were talking.
You were hanging out.
Me and Davey, we were hanging out. And he said that somebody told him this, or he heard somebody say this. He said that you have this antenna that's out, and the ideas don't come from you. They're just going vroom, vroom from the greater beyond. And you have to, Keith Richards said this. And my other friend, Keith, and or Tanner, as I like to call him. And Keith Richards said that the ideas are there, and if you don't have your antenna up, that idea is going to go right by you, Neil Young's going to catch it.
That son of a bitch.
That's a Keith Richards story about Neil Young, told by Dave Gahan, told by Jim Lujan.
I'm gonna have to map that out on a whiteboard.
But I 100% believe that. I believe that these.
Do you literally believe that? Because I've heard that sentiment expressed. That
I do.
That the brain is really an antenna for ideas are received in some way.
Ooh, this is gonna get deep, but I believe
it's gonna get deep. But is that how? Do you feel that? Where do you think? Where do you get your ideas from? As much as I hate that question, but I mean, let's get into it. Where do you think this stuff bubbles up from?
So the Tanner stuff that we were riffing on earlier just unfolded.
Right.
I didn't actively research it. I just was, and it's because I believe maybe there's something to the, where they say that, like, as the movie says, everything everywhere all at once.
Right.
Maybe let's get deep, stoner deep. Maybe time it's all there and it's just ready to be unpacked. And we just have to go with our antenna, just have to be out there and like, oh, there it is. And we unpack it, which leads, this is going to get deep too, which leads into, evil and good. And like, if you open yourself to evil spirits, you could say, or whatever, on Easter, Gary.
Whoa, of all days.
How dare you, Gary?
Outrageous.
But I like this. Speaking of evil geniuses. No, I'm kidding. Speaking of geniuses.
Look at that. Speaking
of baby geniuses, Corey said the Greeks felt that way. And he also says the idea of a genius is a poet or sculptor processed by a muse.
Yes.
I agree. I don't understand it, but I agree. So, but and then use your powers for good, Captain Goggles. What tools do you use? Well, I was going to insert a Gary Hodges joke here, but that would be messed up because he's on my show, and I don't treat my guests like that, Gary.
I appreciate that. I'm glad you don't.
I use him, but he's not a tool. Okay, so. So back to the thought of unpacking these stories. I think I really do believe that. I believe that you are a receptor, and it's kind of what station you want to tune into. So I believe, I believe, can somebody make themselves go crazy or go evil by opening up so much to it that it's out there? I think it could. I think somebody could. If they're open to it, So now leading psychologists might have other theories, but this is what I believe. And this is my show and I win.
Hey, you win. Yeah.
But I don't know. What do you believe, Gary, when it comes to that stuff?
Well, I can't say I'm on the same page with the Greeks. I'm sorry, I was eating some chocolate. There is something fascinating to me about, like, with the Tanner Williams exercise, going through these names, and eventually you hit on one that almost everyone says, like, yeah, that's what it is. And it's like, what are we recognizing when we say that? What is it? You know, how are we recognizing something we've never seen before or heard before as the correct thing? Like, there is something, this is stoner talk for sure. I think it's something I've thought about. I mean, we're officially in Stonerville, so I might as well make this comparison. I found in my work, my day job work, sometimes I'll see things like crime-related things, crime scene photos or something that I've never seen before. That when I see it, I recognize that there's sometimes a reaction of, yeah, of course, that's what that looks like. You know, there is some of a thing I've never seen, of a thing that I don't know any kind of truth about. I can see it and recognize it's true. And there's something kind of weird about that. Now, I'm sure a neurologist or a psychologist or someone could explain, like, what is happening there. But I feel like the creative process is something like that. Like, when you're brainstorming, every once in a while, an idea comes along and you recognize it as the correct idea. And I cannot tell you what was different about that idea compared to any other. You just know it's correct. It's like recognizing a thing you've never seen before. It's a strange process. That all said, all that stoner's talk said, I do tend to believe, it's a cliche, but I find it to be true. I do tend to believe that creativity is some kind of fever dream of some fever dream of biography. That there is something, you look at a character like Tanner and you think of all the people you've seen that are kind of remind you of him, and you think of the sort of names that go with that sort of person, and like you're cobbling together a reality out of your experience, I think. But I don't know. That's
I do believe that's true, but I also believe the other part's true a little bit too. I believe that you have to get up out of bed in order to go get the mail, but you know, you have nothing to do with whether the mail's being delivered to you or not.
Correct.
That was good, Jim. That was
good.
Speaking of good, I want to read this. I want to sound this out though, because there's a lot of words. Okay, so basically the poet isn't a good poet. It's a person who's good at tapping into the gods of poetry.
That is the classical Greek.
It's a personified force of nature.
Yes.
So that's kind of an extreme. I guess if that's what the Greeks believe, that's sort of an extreme version of what I believe. I believe it's a handshake. It's you're opening yourself up to this and making the effort, and then it's there. You know.
Yeah.
It's always there. And is it there for everybody? I don't know. I think that's where you're doing your self preparation to receive divine intervention.
I think what's interesting about the thought experiment of whether your brain is an antenna to receive information as opposed to a generator of information is it really, I don't know, it makes you question what you are without received information. This gets into a topic I've been wanting to talk about in my live stream for a while, is sensory deprivation tanks, where you kind of get a glimpse of yourself starved of stimuli, which is an unusual experience. An experience that the only other way to maybe have it would be through intense meditation or psychedelics. I don't know. But I have not participated in the psychedelic thing, but I have done the sensory deprivation tank thing, and it's kind of a fascinating experience.
So I think to sum all of this up, Gary.
Yes.
Paul said I had to step away. We settle on Tanner? All right.
Let's get back to the most important thing. Tanner Williams.
Yeah. So all right. That was wow, we weren't really
We kind of took a strange little we wandered off the path into the strange woods just for a little bit.
Paul says,
I swear to God, I'm not high. Swear to God.
But you know what's really trippy, Paul?
Sadly, I talk like this a lot, so maybe I don't even need the drugs. I don't know.
Paul, if you have a dream and then you have a dream within the dream, but you never wake up from it,
yeah,
are you still living the dream when you are awake? Or are you sleeping?
Are you hopping back and forth? Is your dream life? Have you ever had a dream where you're in the dream and you recognize, like, oh, this is that house I always see in the dream? Is that the house you live in the dream life? And then when you're awake, that's a different life. Are you switching back and forth between the two lives?
Hold on. Corey has one more thing. He's railing against the Greeks now.
Oh, he hates, don't get him started on the Greeks.
Yes. I don't fully align with the Greek view, but I think what Paul is saying about preparation meaning, etc. equals whatever.
Yeah.
What Didi is saying about inspiration and the Greeks combined is close to what I think. I agree with that.
I think on that note, I think what I think there's something to is I don't just believe it. I think it's a recognized thing. Your brain can have sort of state specific states. You can put yourself in certain mentalities and mind frames and kind of modes that will affect how you think about things, the sort of ideas you have, the sort of experiences you're having, and how you interpret stimuli. I think creative thought, there is a sort of state that's most conducive for that. And I think good or better artists know how to get their brain into that place. Like they know how to get themselves into, okay, now I'm in writing mode or drawing mode or painting mode or performing mode or whatever you're doing. You recognize that there is a sort of a mode you need to slip into, and that if you're not in that, if you're distracted, if you're tired, if you're whatever the thing is, like nothing's going to happen. That you kind of have to calibrate your instrument before you even attempt. Or if
that's why I'm not doing an animatic.
There you go.
That's what all of that was to say. Why I'm not doing an animatic.
All that's to say, you think animatics are stupid, and anyone who does them is also stupid. That's what you're saying.
The Greeks said that. I didn't say that.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I like coloring, but it's important for me to stick out my tongue while I do it to stay focused.
That could be like a baseball practical magic thing, where you you gotta do this before you pitch.
Obviously, Christopher's never colored in a dust storm because that wouldn't work. And then now Corey's railing against the neurologists. Yeah. And especially the Greek neurologists. Don't get him started.
Corey is just raging today. Look at all the anger that's dripping off of every one of his posts. Okay, let's see. Most neurologists call this.
And Philip has a really good point. He says, "Howdy all." It's not howdy like that guy or howdy that gal over there. It's all. Howdy all. And I think I know what he means by that.
Yeah. So here's another thing. I'm curious how you feel about this, because I know you're a more, I would say, sort of a laissez-faire creative. Like you're a lot looser. I think you have a flow, and you trust your choices, and you just kind of you follow them. You follow the path wherever it ends up, and there you go. You've got your thing. I feel like there are two modes, like what also bouncing off of some of the stuff that Corey is saying here. Two modes I have. I think I have a very imaginative, creative mode initially in my process that is very much like whim and like weird ideas that pop into my head, and kind of like a trusting sort of dreamy logic and trusting sort of my gut reaction to like, maybe this happens in it. I'm like, ooh, yeah, that feels good. Yeah. And there may not be any kind of logic or any kind of story in it. It's just like some ideas, plucking ideas. So for example, D versus M 1975. I think there's like a guy trapped in a house with an alien and he's hallucinating. And I think there's like parts of a woman in the living room. And I think Like there's like two guys in a car, they're driving across the desert and it's like blinding white. There's no story. I'm just getting these images. So I'm in a mode where I'm just coming up with these like just raw, unprocessed creative ideas. And then I go to mode B, which is like I take these ideas that I have. It's like, okay, how do I arrange these in a sequence? How do I shape them so now I sort of have a plot? So I enforce some kind of rationality on these irrational ideas. Do you have anything? Now I want to compare and contrast with you. Do you ever so you get an idea, you get an inspiration, full fungus, and it's a piece of music. What's the next step? You just still like are you still just plucking ideas off the tree, or are you trying to figure out like, all right, now how does that work into a plot? Or who's the character? Who made the music? Like, where do you go from there?
Okay, so again, titles are huge for me. Just like with songs, usually when I make up a song, I have a title first. Once I knew what this story was about, then it became, well, is the story going to be about mink fungus? Is it like the mink fungus story? But I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do a full not a flashback. I didn't want to do a full time, set in the 50s or whatever. I want to do something that kind of jumped around a little bit. So there will be flashbacks. So I knew that. And then I said, well, what's going to be the catalyst to get us from point A to point Z?
Yes.
And I knew I had this detective idea for a detective named Chino Diamond for a long time. And I always knew that I would design him sort of after the guy's voice in it, Charlie Rossman. A really twisted version of him, but still. And I said, he'll be the one leading us through. But if you have a private investigator, you have to have something to investigate. So then the pieces just started falling into place.
Right.
I think as far as something being...
Each choice is creating another question that needs to be answered. Right.
It's kind of like when you're putting a puzzle together. And then you know, oh, I need a piece to fit this. The one thing I think in this that I added just out of total, like, I want to do this, I'm going to have this in the movie. It's my version of the giant robotic spider that Kevin Smith talks about that Rob that was a producer.
Oh my God, Barbara Streisand's
hairdresser.
Yes.
Anyways, Robert
Peters.
John
Peters.
Is it?
I think that was John Peters, isn't it?
Maybe. Whilst you Google it, he wanted him to put a robotic spider in the Wild Wild West for,
Yes, it's John Peters. And by the way, I think the best part of that movie, Licorice Pizza, was that John Peters is in it, played by, oh my God, now I'm blanking on the actor's name.
Barbara Streisand?
It was not played by Barbara Streisand. Let's see here.
We're going on a tangent.
Played by...
Just to get a little bit farther off point, Paul asks, Jim, what kind of spoon do you use to stir the pot? It's not a silver spoon. So the one thing that I put into my movie, because out of just fun and glee, is a female MMA fighter. I wanted to have this movie to have a female MMA fighter. The rest is pretty plot centric. Like they all serve a role in this, but so
just a quick interjection.
Yeah,
Bradley Cooper played John Peters in Licorice Pizza.
Oh, nice!
It's hilarious. Okay. Really, really good. Yeah,
anyway. He's in my movie too, by the way.
Oh, yeah, of course. He's actually a close personal friend of mine.
I call him B Stew. No, wait, what's his name? Biku. I call him Biku. I tell him Biku, foo, like that. We kind of go back and forth. He says, "Yo, J. Lou." I say, "Yo, Biku." It's cute. We're adorable. So, Didi says, "We get ideas all day. Writing them down gets them out of your head, so that your mind is free to get more drinks." Oh, sorry,
drinks.
Otherwise, your mind noodles. Oh, I want noodles.
True.
Sorry, back to it. Your mind noodles.
Drinks and noodles.
On the
After this, I might need some noodles and a beer. Yeah.
So Yeah, once they're out
Yeah.
on paper, then you're like, oh, I don't have to worry about that. That's a good point.
No, it's good. And also, you never think when you have a great idea, it's inconceivable that you would forget it before you write it down, but you can. But you can. So, like, you absolutely should be, if you're any kind of a creative where ideas are important, you definitely need to either be making voice notes or typing in something, like texting yourself or whatever.
One of these is very important to have.
Yeah.
Where you can write down drawings. So,
yes. Yeah.
So, I've done that since I first started making cartoons. I got these Mead notebooks, and I write down character ideas. You know, I go back to these and I pull characters from old ideas that I've never used, and I put them in. Like, I'll be doing that with Full Fungus. I've done that somewhat.
Yeah.
But so yeah. So back to the putting items in your stories out of glee and joy is hugely important. You do not want to. By the way, Christopher went to summer camp with Biku. Okay.
Yeah.
You don't want to do a Mary Sue on your story. You don't want to like create a story that's all like, obviously you want to do a story about like disco roller skating. I know you love it, Gary. You don't want to just pack that. If you pack that into dinosaurs chasing a soldier on a disco roller skate, you know, it's going to be too weird. I probably will do that eventually, that story. So just let me have that. So
yes.
And by the way, the Tyrannosaurus Rex is going to be have rollerblades on as well.
Yeah, I do actually have a Word doc. So I'm always thinking about the D versus M's, and at least I would bet at least every other day I'm opening the Word doc to add a note. Now, sometimes it's specific. Sometimes I know like this is happening in D versus M4 or D versus M6, and I'm entering something for that one. But what does happen, and this has happened from the beginning, I'll get an idea of something like a conversation or a way to say something, or there'll be like an element, and I'll add it. And I don't know, it's just something I would like to use in some D versus M eventually. And I don't even know where. It's not specific to any one of the stories. It's just an idea that's like, that's a fun idea, or that's a fun back and forth or something. And I put it in this Word doc. And when I went through 75, I had this stuff left over that I didn't need. And so I was like, well, I'll just put it maybe in the next one. And then I wrote 97 and there wasn't room for that. So there's this accumulating pile of unused little bon mots and little, like a character saying something or a character thinking something or an action sequence or something that I hold on to because like this might fit into some story someday, but I don't know yet. And it's just getting carried along. It's not specific to anything.
Yeah. Did I ever show you? I'll show this next time. I have some animated clips I want to show, but I have to get them all lined up.
Oh, excellent.
But I'll be next time. I'll show some animated clips. So before I wrap, I just want to let you where I'm at because this is, hey man, how's your movie going? And if you don't believe it, just
hey man, how's your movie going?
Yeah, see, in case that's Christopher Runciman's voice, by the way.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
I wanted to say before I leave is that I'm out of hopefully this is a 70-minute movie, roughly.
Nice.
And right now I'm about, as far as artwork goes, I'm about 10, 12 minutes into it. And as far as done footage, again, if I have, let's say up to this point, I have 40, 45 shots drawn. There's probably 9 of them, 10 of them maybe. No, 9 of them animated, like done, animated. And out of those 9, 3 of them have audio. Like I've done the voices, but I have all of the voices for the opening scene. So I don't know if somebody could work out a percentage where I'm at.
Now, when did you start? I mean, when did you start cobbling together something in your animation program?
Oh my God. I don't know. Probably January, I'm guessing. Maybe January, February, March, April. Yeah, about January, February. Yeah, beginning of the year.
So yeah, I mean, I would ballpark, but now you've got a little bit of momentum starting to build. So maybe around the end of the year.
Oh yeah, I'm guesstimating if I really focus, it'll be towards the end of the year.
Yeah.
If I just work like a normal human being and have a life and everything, then it'll be the beginning of next year. I think comfortably, I would say the beginning of 2024, and then the goal is to get it into festivals in 2024.
That's exciting.
I usually don't push my stuff in festivals. That's the goal for this one, is to play this in festivals. I will say this as well. There's 3 female voice people that I've worked with 2 of them. No, I've worked with 1 of them before.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a few roles that I'm not sure, well, is this person going to play this one? They both could do this one. This one, they both would, or all 3 of them could do this role. They would be all good. For the first time ever, I'm going to do sort of an audition, not a real audition.
Wow.
Settle down, not a casting couch. But
just inappropriate.
I'm going to send them
#MeToo.
I'm going to send them a couple of the characters' pictures and then a couple of lines and just say, how would you do this? Read this,
Yeah.
Kaya Rogue is one of the 3, and I already know which role she's playing.
Yes.
For sure. She's a lock for a couple of them. Like I've designed the characters are going to be, with her. I did them with her in mind. But there's also like, oh, she could also play this one too. But then I also have a couple of other people like, well, they might be able to play this one. So, so this is, it's kind of neat. It's kind of fun. The people also know that I'm doing this. So it's not like I'm blindsiding them. So,
right.
But then Didi says, you can't help but see full stories with your character settings, Jim. They make you wonder. Yeah, definitely. True. I was thinking about this too. If I had to do a story about a guy that's trapped on an island and a killer orangutan is trying to get him, and that's the whole plot. There's a million things you can do with that, but I don't know. At this point, I don't know if I get bored with that or not.
Yeah.
My stories, I like to have a lot of characters, and I definitely like to have a through line. I like to have something that goes through the entire story,
Yeah. Yeah.
And there is one more thing I wanted to show before we go. I have to show this. Speaking of the lovely Christopher Runciman. All right, here we go. I put this on Instagram as well. And
is this? Yeah. I think I know what this is.
Some of you, and you're going to, some of you have seen this.
Yes.
By the way, look at that. That's GIMP. That program.
Yeah.
Is GIMP, because I don't have Photoshop on this machine, but yeah, this is our bowler. Let's see if I can move what he looks like here. Hang on. Boy, I am still learning GIMP. Lord have mercy. I don't know where the move tool's at.
This is the first time I've even seen GIMP. So.
Oh, really? It's kind of, when you get it going, it's pretty good. But I feel like it's a foreign language right now.
Yeah.
I don't see the move tool. That's disturbing. But what we could do is do this. That's what he looks like.
There we go. There we go.
It's one of the
He's
bowlers.
serious. He's serious.
He's a serious bowler. I don't think you're going to hear.
Look at that Tarako Cola Easter egg. Also,
there we go. Yeah.
And I'm studying the crowd to see, like, do I recognize any of these people? But
okay, guys, we need look at for all of that. Okay, let's start with top left. I'm kidding.
Should only take us about half hour, 45 minutes.
Yes. I will say, when to peek over that ball. If I had a nickel for every time we've heard that on this show, then there we go.
The hands look good. It's a good. I like the arms a lot.
I was trying to take this in an old direction, but instead,
new
another ref. No. So
yeah, I'm trying to add a huge space to make it like go down easier, so to speak.
So in the background, you'll notice American Mutual Insurance.
Yes,
and they are actually the sponsors for today's show. I don't know if you knew that or not.
Oh.
Yeah, they sponsored today's show. In fact,
death, a subject that nobody really wants to talk about, yet it affects most, if not all of us. I'm Travis Mulford, and while I've played doctors and policemen on television, I'm someone who in real life can't save you from the ravages of death and the impact your family will feel when you're 6 feet underground feeding the earthworms. That's why American Mutual, the most trusted name in insurance, is here for you. And with over 200 years of service to their name, American Mutual is a name you can trust and believe in. So the next time you feel that sweet whisper of death singing that doo-wop ditty in your ear hole, turn to the only ones who are selling peace of mind. American Mutual. Trust and believe.
That's powerful. Was that Burt Reynolds in the background?
Yes. Good eye. Yeah. So all right, I'll leave you with this. This movie, it's Easter. All right, and right now, today is Easter, 2023. And this movie does have a lot of Easter eggs in it, but it's not built around the Easter eggs. It's built around trust and love.
Yeah.
And lust.
Maybe the point of the full fungus is the friends we make along the way.
The point of the full fungus is the magic was inside you all along.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The
fungus was inside you.
Fungus. Hopefully not the fungus.
The fungus was in you all along.
Inside you all along, because that can be very dangerous.
So, but Gary, I want to thank you. To sum up today's show, as no more animatics. Characters are coming along. Voices coming along.
Yes.
This will be a little mini audition thing that's weird to me, and I'm going to continue to build this. I think by the next time I have one of these, which will probably be in a week or 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I don't know. I think I'll have some more different scenes to show you and some new characters and a new direction.
Whoa.
Oh,
Whoa.
I said it.
Look,
Okay, so other than that,
who was really down for a new direction? The Greeks.
Yeah. Well, it's in the yogurt. That's what we should just call that should be the motto for the show. It's in the yogurt.
Wow.
All right. Well, Gary, thank you for being House Rules. Thank you for being such a good sounding board.
Thank you.
And sometimes
I always like to hear you talk about what's going on with your project. I do have a question for Dee Dee.
What is your
Love
question?
the updates, Jim. TFS?
Hold on. Where is Dee Dee? Where did she say that? Hold on. Oh, right here.
Yeah.
Yes.
What is TFS? What are the crazy kids saying these days on the internet?
It stands for. It's like.
Thanks for sharing. Okay.
Oh, I thought it stood for that fat shit.
I thought it was like
she was attacking me, calling me.
I thought it was this fucking sucks. Yeah. I was like, I don't know about that. Okay, there we go.
I love that. That it stands for this fucking sucks. Wow, Dee Dee.
That's how I'll be using it in the Artcasters chat, just so
Dee.
everybody knows.
That's just cruel. That's yes. Oh, Jim.
Never about your work, though. Never.
This fucking sucks. I love it. All right. Well, Gary, again, thank you.
Thank you for letting me pop in.
Yeah, there'll be some more of these coming, and appreciate it. I tend to have a few other folks on here as well. It makes a difference. But and then it's like I said, some of these shows will be maybe drawing demos too. I don't know.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that.
As I get going in the project more, these shows might be less frequent.
Yeah,
but they'll always be. We'll always be here for you.
It's somewhat absurd because I'm whole against drawing demos, like me doing drawing demos, but I would 100% want to watch you. So
you're whole against drawing demos?
Yeah.
Are you?
I don't like to do it.
Are you against drawing holes?
No, I'll draw a hole.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's your new quote.
I've sent you several. But...
There's your new quote for the inner sleeve of your book. Always.
I like drawing holes. Gary Hodges.
So, but all right. Well, you guys, thank you so much. Follow me on Instagram. Gary, where can people, I sound like Josh now. Where can people find you?
Probably the best two places are on Instagram. My handle is @Dinosaurs vs Marsbots, Dinosaurs vs Marsbots, or perhaps even better is right here on YouTube under my name, Gary Hodges, and you'll know you found me because the icon is a cartoony dinosaur eating up an alien,
which is actually on the top of StreamYard right there. There's that's Gary's dinosaur right there.
This is actually me. Yeah, just follow me on StreamYard. No, under my name.
D versus M, ducks versus minotaurs.
And, probably I will be actually, if we do another one of these next week, or if you come on my show next week, I'll probably be picking your brain about my work in progress D versus M 1979 trailer.
Okay.
You're the video guy.
I can return the favor, perhaps. All right. Well, thank you guys, and we're gonna sign off and say, signing off. Keep reaching for the stars. Thank you, everybody that tuned in, and thank you for everybody, all your mental, physical, emotional, and financial support. Keep it fungies. Keep it fungin'.
Why am I? Are we still? We're still. Do I have control? Is this all me now? Oh, the power and the possibilities. What will I be doing with Jim's channel while he's trying to figure out how he's not in the stream anymore, but I am, and we're apparently still broadcasting. Are we still broadcasting? Someone in the chat, let me know if type.
Gary, what are you doing?
Type TFS if I'm still here and Jim is gone. Type TFS if I've taken control of Jim's YouTube. Yeah. Okay. So what did you do?
I hit the wrong button.
Clearly. Yeah.
That was kind of cool because Gary was like, "Oh my God, I'm going to die now."
Oh my God, this is what happened. I'm in it's like I'm in the phantom zone, like General Zod. Who knows what's happening? I'm on your channel, but you've left.
At least
am I stuck? Am I here forever?
At least they were saying, "Sing, Gary." Can you sing "Dream On" for us?
Maybe next time.
All right. Okay. This time for reals.
Okay.
Fungin'. All right.
All right.
Okay.